Ep.1, The Encounter. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, lived a little princess and a lonely wolf. The princess was the most important person in her kingdom, so she had no one to play with. The wolf was feared by the animals in the forest, so he had no friends either. This is the story of how they met. This is the kingdom of Umar, a peaceful land where a warm breeze blows. In the center stood a sturdy stone castle, 3 stories high. In the very top corner room lived an 8-year-old princess. Her name was Ada. Ada wore a small, lovely crown and a beautiful dress. "Good morning. Today feels like it will be a wonderful day." Ada opened her window wide, letting the bright sunshine fill her room. She didn't mind reading or studying, but what Ada loved most of all was cleaning. "Hello, little dust motes, I found you." Holding her broom, Ada skipped around happily. Swish, swish, swish. Just then, stomp, stomp, clang, clang. The sound of heavy armor filled the hallway. It was Thomas, the captain of the guards. "Princess, today is as peaceful as ever." Thomas had a very big voice and a very strong body. His armor sparkled, shiny, shiny, every time he moved. "Thank you. Good morning, Thomas." Ada gave him a bright, sunny smile. But deep inside, Ada had one secret wish. If only I had someone to play with. Everyone was kind to her. Everyone bowed politely and spoke gently. But because everyone was so careful, there was no one who could laugh right beside her like a real friend. That afternoon, after her lessons, a servant said, "Princess, let's have a picnic by the forest today. The flowers are in bloom." "Really? I'd love to go." Ada's eyes sparkled like stars. The forest was a short walk from the castle. They walked through the castle town, past the big gate, and followed a long, straight path through the fields. Of course, when a princess goes for a walk, everyone follows. Thomas, the soldiers, and all the helpers walked in a long, long line. Tramp, tramp, tramp. Ada giggled a little. "It looks like we are a giant parade." But even on a picnic, Ada wasn't allowed to run or race. The grown-ups always stayed close around her. Ada thought to herself, "Just for a moment, I wish I could play like a normal child." Then Ada came up with a tiny bit of mischief. Before they reached the forest, she whispered to a girl who worked at the castle, who was just about her age. "Psst, will you swap clothes with me? Just for a little bit." The girl was surprised, but Ada's eyes were so gentle and sincere that she nodded her head. They quickly and quietly switched clothes. Ada even handed over her little crown. And then, guess what? The long line of people kept marching along, and no one noticed. Ada slipped away softly. A solo adventure. Here I go! The forest path was bright, and the birds sang everywhere. Hoo-hoo, tweet, tweet, coo-coo. Sunlight danced through the leaves like tiny diamonds. Wow, it's so pretty! Ada was so happy that she ran and ran holding her skirt. But she was having so much fun that before she knew it, she could no longer hear the voices of the others. "Wait!" Ada stopped. The wind whispered through the trees. Whoosh, whoosh. She had wanted to be alone, but now that she was, a tiny tug of loneliness pulled at her heart. "But it's okay. I can find my way back." Ada took a big, brave breath. Just then, rustle, rustle. The grass nearby shook. Ada jumped, gasp, but she quickly called out, "Who's there? I'm not an enemy. I just want to talk." Silence. Then, rustle, rustle, a very small sound. Ada slowly turned around. There, in the grass, was a small wolf pup. He had fluffy gray fur and big round eyes. He didn't look scary at all. He looked very gentle. His tail stood straight up, but his little body was shivering. The little wolf said in a tiny voice. I'm Riti, a wolf. Ada blinked. Riti, I'm Ada. Riti looked down at his paws. Ervil, everyone is scared of me. When I get close, they run away. I don't have any friends either. Ada was surprised, but she spoke straight from her heart. I don't have friends either. Everyone is kind, but they only see me as the princess. Riti's tail gave a little twitch. Peekoo! Then, are we the same? Ada's face lit up like the sun. Yes, we are the same. Riti relaxed and gave a shy little laugh. I'm so happy. Then Ada noticed something. On Riti's chest, there was a tiny star-shaped mark. That star is beautiful, Riti. Riti blushed and tried to hide it with his fur. I've had it since I was born, but I don't know why. The two of them played for a long time. They found pretty flowers and played tag along the path. Riti, this way. Ada followed him lightly through the trees. Step, step, step. Then from far away they heard a booming voice. Hey, princess, where are you? It was Thomas. I'm here, over here. Ada waved her hands and shouted back. Thomas rushed in, clang, clang. Princess, oh, thank goodness you are safe. I was so worried. Ada gave a little bow. I'm sorry, Thomas, but I'm okay. I made a wonderful new friend. Thomas looked around, but Riti was already hiding in the tall grass. Ada leaned close to the bushes and whispered, Riti, see you again. Let's play very soon. The grass fluttered and a small tail wagged. Thump, thump. Yes, see you soon. That night, back at the castle, Ada looked at the stars from her window. Today was such a good day. She snuggled deep into her warm blanket and placed her tiny crown gently beside her pillow. Far away in the forest, Riti curled his fluffy tail close. The stars sparkled. Twinkle, twinkle, good night.